I'm just sitting quietly here. I see some people coming on. So good morning. Um, Friday, end of the week, first week in December. Pretty great. I keep getting. Uh, do you get these? I'm sure you get these things. Uh, I get them from Google. I mean, I guess it depends where your photos are, but I keep getting these like reminder photos from years past, and the past couple of days I keep getting them from. Um, Good morning, Ruth. Uh, so Christmas in Odessa is a craft show that I did for years uh, when I was making soap more steadily. Now I'm kind of, you know, I do it, but I'm not steady with it, and it's not sort of my main focus. So, but that was the main thing that we did. And when I was really busy making soap, my kids were pretty young, so um, I didn't do a lot of shows. I mainly had them in stores and sold them online. So um, that was one that I was committed to do every year, and it was nice because it was right, the beginning of December, and we kind of got us into the, um, I would make a lot of soap and sell a bunch of soap, and then we'd always go and buy a Christmas tree. and and then I'd start Christmas shopping because I'd have some money for Christmas shopping. So that was kind of my routine. Um, and there was a lady that I got to know from doing that, that had um, the candy shop in Middletown, um, the Squirrel's Nest, which you may be familiar with. Um, she got started making candy because she had a son who had a lot of health issues and needed, special. He couldn't have, artificial colorings and artificial flavorings and things like that in his food. So that was one of the things that she was trying to do, was to make candy that he could eat. And then, of course, she started a business with it. So we had been doing this for years together, and years. I mean, maybe 20 years we did the show. I don't know. It was a long time. And then, and I had the kids help me at the booth, and it was always a lot of fun. Um, and then finally, she decided to move and go down to where her grandkids are in, I think, Tennessee. Yeah, yeah, I think Tennessee. So, and that was just a good time to stop, right? I've been thinking we were about done with it. My kids were grown, and I'd been doing it for a long time, so we were done. But I think about it, every year at this time. Um, what a what a fun experience that is. And I keep thinking, of course, now I'm not going to do it this year, but one of these years I'm going to get down there as a customer and just walk around and see what it looks like. But it's a very good. I wonder if it must be happening this weekend because it's usually Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Yeah, might be Friday night and Saturday. I don't know, but if you can look it up online, if they're even doing it. Maybe they're not even doing it. I mean, I don't even know. Probably they aren't even doing it, right? Um, but in the future, it's a very good show. Most of the things that they have there are actually homemade, so they aren't just people buying stuff and selling it, which is kind of fun. But yeah, so and I remember. So here's something we can talk about. I remember coming to that decision was very easy, um, and I remember my kids and my husband was like, "Oh, aren't you sad? Don't you feel like you miss it? And isn't it too bad? And all this?" And I'm like, "Not really. No, I feel great about it, because it was a good time to stop." Um, And I think that is a really key thing when you are at different stages and different steps in your life, is uh, to get out at the right time, right? If you're feeling a whole lot of resistance and suffering, um, it could be that you're just really attached to the situation, right? But it could also be that you're not ready, right? You're not ready to move on. Um, so think about that, right? Weigh those options. Um, Sometimes right, we think we're ready for something. We believe we should be ready for something, but we really aren't. Um, so rather than fight that and try to force ourselves to be in this place, pay attention to that feeling and see if you maybe just need a little more time. Maybe you need to get there. Um, when one chapter is over, if we are listening to how we're feeling, what our body is telling us, what our spirit is telling us, um, it's easy. It feels very natural. It's a natural next step. When things are very hard, when you are really suffering and struggling, um, many times it's because you know you're not in alignment, right? You're not there, um, and clearly sometimes we don't have a choice about that, right? Sometimes things happen without giving us a chance to see if we're ready. Things just happen. So all of this is this attachment, right? We have an attachment to what is going on, um, and we can either sort of naturally um, release that, right? And that can happen naturally over time, right? So I look forward to that every year up until the point I stopped looking forward to it and I realized it was time to end, and then I stopped. But at any point in time, it could have been done. And how would I feel about that, right? I would have attachment. I would feel sad. I would feel loss. I would feel uh, regret, right? Um, so the thing to remember is that these are feelings that we are generating. They aren't real in the sense of something has happened to us, right? Um, we are creating that feeling within us. And we couldn't have the choice to create a different feeling. So, um, a really interesting kind of way of looking at things um, is this idea that if we can look at things as already broken, then it's easier to enjoy the time that we have. So, the thing is, the example is like a beautiful, like, I don't know, say you have a vase, right? Beautiful china vase, glass vase. It's lovely. You love it. You love the color, you love the shape, everything about it is perfect. If you can imagine that broken into a million pieces and just useless, just nothing. And know that that is the uh, ultimately that's what's going to happen to that vase, right? It will not always be that way. Eventually it's going to break. It is going to wear out. It's going to chip. Something is going to happen to that beautiful vase. So instead of regretting that, we can, if we know this, we know that it will end, we can enjoy the time that we have. So, how grateful can we be at the beauty of this thing, knowing that it's only for a short period of time, that all it takes is for someone to knock it off the table and it's gone forever. Um, when we shift, when we shift that feeling about things, we can see how precious the time that we have is, instead of regretting that we don't have an eternal amount of time, right? Because no one does. Things will always end. So knowing that going into everything, ownership of a vase, a relationship, a something that you own. I mean, knowing that these things will wear out, these things will break, there will be loss and ending. It makes us appreciate, maybe, hopefully, right? We can then appreciate the good times, the times when everything is perfect. And I've heard the saying where I wish we knew we were in the good old days, right? The idea being that we only look back in time and look back at some time and go, oh, those were really good old days. Well, they're all good old days, right? Every day you have is a good day. And if you don't feel that, you want to consider, the alternative, right? The alternative is nothing. So what we have is to be cherished, to be nurtured, and rather than regrets. And this thinking helped me a lot when my kids were young, right? Because it's a very stressful time. And one of the things that I found, and it really surprised me, was how annoyed I was when things broke, when they would destroy things, when they'd knock things over. Kids are careless. Things will wear out and break. And that was a hard thing for me to think, here's this beautiful thing that I bought that someone just destroyed. And it's gone. And there'll never be another because I don't even know where it came from. I could never get another one. So these are exercises in letting go, in loosening your attachment. So hold on loosely to what it is. And that allows us to accept change and to be open to what's coming next, right? So never be so attached to what's happening now that we think it can't be better or the same or, improved. There's always something else coming. That's kind of the uncertainty, but also kind of the beauty of it all. So if you've broken that lovely vase that you loved so much, that you treasured, you'll probably find another one that you love even more. And you'll have that for a little bit. And then that'll break and you'll have another one. Right? That is how it goes. All right. So let's do some asana. And let's try not to be attached to what we're doing or what we think we should be doing. And let's just do whatever it is your body needs to do today. So sitting up tall. It's kind of dark in here today, but I think it's all right. Just relaxing. Breath in, breath out. Make sure the shoulders are right over the hips. It's very easy to kind of be leaning forward. When you have the shoulders right over the hips, you can actually feel like you're leaning back a little, but you're not. It's just that is it's kind of counter to how we normally sit. Normally we are kind of pitched forward a little bit. So we want to be in a nice straight line so we have this room to breathe. And if you're not sure, right? If you aren't really sure if you are where you need to be, try sitting against the wall, and that'll give you that feedback, right? So when your shoulders are touching the wall, you know that you're pretty steady here. A lot of what we do with the asana is going for this feedback, right? The feedback of knowing what that sensation is to have your body in that particular shape. So as we do these poses over and over, we kind of dial that in, and we get very that muscle memory kicks in, so that we know, right? We can tell this feels different than this, or this, or this, right? We have a body awareness, and you'll see people who are just beginning yoga frequently. When you're telling them, do this, step this foot back, do this, they think they're doing it, but they aren't, because their connection to their body is so like loose, right? So what they hear isn't the same as what they're doing, and it was hard to understand that, at first, when you're teaching people that, sometimes you have to actually put their body in that shape, because it's hard when you have never done that before, to hear what someone's saying and then translate that into actual movement in the body. So if you struggle with that some, just keep working at it, and check, right? You don't have to stay still and hold your body in a certain position. You can get to where you think you're supposed to be, and then look, right? Am I really there? Is this how it is? You may be very surprised. What you think is straight may not be quite straight. So yeah, feel free to check it out. And let's drop the chin down toward the chest. Relax shoulders. Moving around. Big circle. One way and then the other. Back to center. Lean forward and move around. One way and the other. Back up to your seat, arms wide. Breath in, and then exhale, hands together. Inhale wide. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. Lifting up once more. Right hand by your side, reach across. And switch. Back up, lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on left knee, left arm behind, sit up tall. Take a twist. Back to center and switch. And then back to center. Let's walk the hands out. And then hands behind. Squeeze the shoulders together, gaze up. And then back up. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Back up to tabletop. Moving through cat-cow for a few sets. Just loosening up through the spine. Inhales and exhales. Back on the heels for child's pose. Let's bring the knees a little wider maybe. Or if you normally do with really wide knees, maybe bring them a little closer. Do something different. Moving back up. Tabletop. Let's flip the toes and lift up. Downward dog. Walk the feet up. Folding here for a few breaths. Rising up slowly. Standing tall here, breath in and breath out. Maybe lift the shoulders again. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. And then lifting up, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Let's bring the arms up over the head. You can have arms extended, or you could interlace the fingers. Take a deep breath, and then we're folding over to the right. Back to center, moving to the left. And back up. Let's gaze up and then leaning back. And hands back by your side. Breath in and breath out. Stepping to the side. So we're facing side of the mat, hands at the waist. Take a deep breath. Lean forward. And then you can just release the hands down. You've got a block. Maybe rest on the block if you feel like it. If you're close to being, down that far, you could rest the forehead. So we're trying to bring that weight toward the front. So not so much weight in the heels, mostly in the front part of the foot. Sometimes the temptation here is to kind of stick your rear end out to counterbalance, but we want to kind of resist that urge and move toward the front. Hands back to the waist. Use the leg strength to help lift you up. Breath in and breath out. Let's walk the feet together. So we're about shoulder width or so for your squat, hands together. Take a deep breath and then bend the knees, lower down. So if you have a block here, you could hold on to the block. You could stick the block under, see if you can rest on there or sort of on there. Right? If you're down this far. If not, then, just wherever you are is good. Take one more breath. And then we're rising up. Release the hands. And let's bring the feet in. We can just kind of bicycle out the legs. And then let's do some balance. Right? So we can start with tree, standing on the left foot. Right foot comes in, could be a kickstand, could be higher. Knee rotates out to the side. Nice and upright with the body. So whatever the feet are doing, the body is nice and upright. Steady gaze. Pardon me. Easing out. Got that eye level or higher. Kind of keeping the body up instead of looking down. Don't want to look down. Makes us go down. And then set the foot back down. We'll switch, so standing on the right. And we've got, again, similar thing. See if you can do the same, one side to the other, right? So a lot of times our balance is better on the right leg so that we have a tendency to want to try to do more. Better you stick to what you can do on the left side as well, and then work up together. Right? You don't want to emphasize the side that is stronger. You want to build up the other side as you go. And then set the foot down, bicycle legs. We're going to step out into Warrior 3. So give yourself a little room in front. Hands together, take a breath. Stepping out with the left. And then shifting your weight onto the one side, we can lift up that back leg. Hands could be at center. If it helps you to have them out to the side, you can certainly do that. See what works today. Breathe. And if you need to set your foot down, then do it and try again. And then bring that foot back to the mat. We're going to step out again, this time to the right side. And lifting from here. Breathe. A lot of times it's easier and more stable if you keep a slight bend in that standing leg. You don't want to lock the knee. When you lock the knee, it's wobbly. And you aren't keeping the muscles engaged. You're just holding the joints, right? So we want to, having that little bend forces you to continue to use the muscles in the leg to keep you stable. And that ultimately is what helps with balance. And then just set that foot back down. Bicycle legs. And then let's do foot exercises, right? Because flexible, strong feet mean good balance. So we're going to start lifting up the heels. So maybe just the heels. That might be challenging enough. If you feel like you can do more, then come on up. Balls of the feet. And again, if you have to rest back down, just come on back up. These are good exercises to do anytime, right? If you ever feel like your calves are getting tight, if they feel tight, do some of this. Just do some lifts, right? That kind of works through the calf muscle in a nice way. I feel like that. So lately I have been working on the porch and not walking the dog. So I find that my calves are like, hey, we got to do something. So I do this and it helps. Okay, next thing is coming out to the sides of the feet. So we're lifting up that center instep, toe, big toe, all of that, rolling onto the outer edges of the foot. Be cautious with this, especially if you have loose ankle attachment, right? If you are prone to twisting your ankle or things just feel a little loose in there, don't go too far. Just balance wherever you can. And then let's do the opposite. You might want to step out a little bit to give yourself a little more room. This is hard to do with feet close together, but we're lifting the outer part of the foot now. So you're pressing the big toe down, the inner part of the foot, trying to lift the outer. And if your feet are pretty stiff, you may feel like nothing is happening here. It's a pretty subtle movement. Can't really see too much going on, but you'll feel it. And if nothing really is happening now, just keep doing. You will see more flexibility as you go. And then set the foot down. Then we're going to come up on the heel. So again, you can start with just lifting the toes. That may be enough, right? Maybe that's difficult enough for you today. Trying to find stability with that flat part of the foot. If you do feel more stable, then come on up to the heels. If you have to move around a little to stay, that's fine. You can do a little walk down your yoga mat. And back again. Kind of funny penguin sort of thing. And then set the foot down, bicycle out the legs. And let's come on down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall, deep breath, and then fold forward. Back up. We're going to bring this left leg under, right leg on top, sort of crossing the knees as much as possible. So you've got one foot in either hand. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Should feel this along that right thigh and hip. You may not have to cross that far to feel it. And then let's bring the legs out in front. This time, right is under, left is on top. Deep breath and fold. And back up. Both legs out in front. Take a deep breath and fold forward. Coming back up, we're going to bring, bend this knee, right? Bend the right knee. And then we're going to bring the foot to the outer side of the left knee. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you, sitting up tall, and then taking a twist. Back to center, switch. So we're hugging this left knee in and then bringing the foot across and twisting to the left. Back to center. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat, and we're lowering down or rocking back, resting on your mat. Breath in, breath out. Just get comfortable here. Hug that right knee into the chest. Then lowering out to the side. Coming back to center. Let's draw that right knee across the body, rolling up on the left hip. And back. Extend both legs. Take a couple of breaths. And then hugging that left leg in. Lowering up to the side. And bringing that knee to center, coming across the body, up on the right hip. Breathe. And then back. Both legs extend. Bring the feet a little wide on the mat. Arms out. 5-pointed star. Palms face up. And then hands by your side. Setting up for bridge. You could do regular bridge or supported bridge. I'm doing supported bridge. Pressing down, hands and feet. Lifting up. Breathe. Then lifting up. Rest back down on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Feel how this helps lengthen out the spine, flatten that lower back. Bring the knees together. Let's hug them into the chest. You can rock side to side. happy baby here, reaching for the feet, the instep, or the ankle, or the calf, whatever you're able to get a hold of today. Just going to breathe here. You can stay still or move a little if that feels best. If you're feeling super ambitious, you can grab a hold of your toe and extend. And then releasing, extend the legs straight up. And then lowering down to the mat, however you want to get there. Resting comfortably. Finding a place to be for Shavasana. So finding peace here, finding calm, relaxed state, steady breath. Staying in this moment, the peace and the quiet. Relaxed sensations in the body. Coming back to the breath. When we hold loosely to attachment, we become in the world, but not of the world. We are aware of our spiritual nature, that what is eternal and what is important is within. It's not the things we own or even the people in our life. Those are not who we are. They are lovely and enjoyable parts of our life here on earth. But ultimately, as with everything, they change, they move, things become different. Come back to the unchanging self. Take your strength and your peace from there. We can love and appreciate the people and the things around us without grasping, without clinging on. Hold on loosely. Moving a bit now, coming back to movement and awareness, making your way up to a seat. We'll bring hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today for yoga, for sharing with me here. I hope that you have a great Friday. Namaste. Thank you. I'm going to move right into meditation because we're in this state of mind. We should use it positively. So, sitting up or laying back down, or it's up to you, or laying down. Maybe you were laying down. And then just get comfortable with the breath, relaxed, steady, finding that calm space within, and breathe. Okay. Coming back to awareness and our everyday life. There you go. Okay, enjoy your Friday, and I'll be back tomorrow.